Hi guys, Cliff Olson, Doctor of Audiology and founder of Applied Hearing Solutions in Phoenix, Arizona. And in this video, I'm talking about the surprising link between hearing loss and memory and why it may be the real reason that you struggle to hear in background noise. Coming up. Hearing loss is often called the silent epidemic. According to the World Health Organization, over 5% of the entire world's population has hearing loss, and this number is expected to rise to 25% of the world's population by 2050, which is less than 30 years from now. This, of course, is incredibly bad news, not just because hearing loss negatively impacts your ability to communicate with others, but because hearing loss is actually a leading risk factor for other health conditions that can impact your overall well-being. Perhaps most worrisome is the fact that hearing loss is the leading potentially modifiable risk factor for cognitive decline and dementia later in life. And this link between hearing loss and cognitive decline and dementia continues to pop up in peer-reviewed research. According to a study by Dr. Frank Lin, who is a professor of otolaryngology from the Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health, the risk of dementia increases with an increase in the severity of an untreated hearing loss, resulting in up to a 5 times increased risk of dementia if the untreated hearing loss is at a severe level. In a more recent article published by the Lancet Commission on Dementia Prevention, Intervention, and Care that I will also link in the description of this video, researchers identified that hearing loss in midlife was the leading potentially modifiable risk factor for dementia later in life at 8%, which is significantly higher than all the other modifiable risk factors identified by the Commission. These are just a few of the studies that have made the link between hearing loss and dementia over the course of the past decade, and I expect to see a lot more of these research articles come out over the next several years. The main reason why this has the attention of individuals with hearing loss is that the loss of mental faculties as someone gets older is one of the biggest concerns for individuals over the age of 65. According to the Alzheimer's Association, memory loss is one of the earliest identifiable symptoms of dementia. And if any form of memory loss is identified, then you should be contacting your primary care doctor as soon as possible. If memory loss is not readily apparent to yourself, family members, or friends, and you happen to have a hearing loss, then having a cognitive screening that includes a memory screening should be high on your to-do list. That's why Cognivue, today's video sponsor, developed the Cogniview Thrive system to make it convenient for your audiologist to measure if there are any signs of memory loss before a mild cognitive impairment sets in. Cognivue Thrive is an FDA-cleared, self-administered computerized cognitive screening tool that puts you through a variety of different tests so your hearing care professional can objectively evaluate if your hearing loss is potentially impacting your cognitive performance and your memory. Cognivue Thrive measures 5 different key performance areas, including reaction time, processing speed, executive function, visuospatial ability, and you guessed it, memory. After completing your screening, your audiologist will be able to identify if there are any possible concerns regarding your overall cognitive performance that might warrant a referral to another medical professional. Of course, if you are fortunate enough to have your Cognivue Thrive scores come back indicating good performance in all of the different measurable areas, and you do have an untreated hearing loss, you should strongly consider getting your hearing loss treated to keep those scores high. In another linked study from the Journal of American Geriatric Society, researchers identified that hearing aid use was positively associated with episodic memory scores, and that the decline in episodic memory scores was slower after treatment with hearing aids than before using hearing aids. The reduction in the rate of decline of these memory scores is not really that surprising considering all that we know about untreated hearing loss and cognitive decline. However, what might surprise you is that your ability to hear is negatively impacted if you happen to have memory loss. Numerous research studies have indicated that a reduction in working memory negatively impacts speech intelligibility when you're in a complex listening situation. This is also not surprising considering that hearing requires a lot more than just getting sound from your ears up to your brain. Your brain has to be able to cognitively process that information, which requires memory. And if you do not have the cognitive abilities to be able to do this, then it is going to be much more difficult for you to understand what you're hearing, particularly in complex listening situations. A measured reduction in memory scores, as well as other performance areas identified by the Cognivue Thrive system, can go a long way in explaining why someone might have extra difficulty in a background noise situation that their audiogram might not otherwise suggest. These Cognivue Thrive scores can also lead to additional diagnostic testing by your audiologist, and perhaps even a recommendation for an assistive listening device to make your hearing aids work even better in a background noise situation like a family gathering or in a restaurant. When you consider all of the evidence, it is readily apparent that hearing and memory are very closely linked, and a decline in one of them can negatively impact the other. So if you think that you might have hearing loss, or you have any concerns about your memory whatsoever, then I highly recommend that you reach out to a Cognivue Thrive provider to get your hearing tested and to get your cognition screened. To find a Cognivue Thrive provider, just go to earbrain.com and search your local area to see a list of all the providers near you. At the end of the day, we have only just begun our fight with hearing loss and dementia, and the decisions you make right now regarding your hearing health and your cognitive health will have a direct impact on your well-being in the not-so-distant future. That's it for this video. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below. If you liked the video, please share it. And if you want to see other videos just like this one, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Also, feel free to check out my website, drcliffaud.com.